Because you're gonna confuse us. Okay.
We're live.
I feel like we're still learning. Okay.
Yeah, we're live.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for your patience. Yes, we are here, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. This is Father Son Galaxy. I am Kerwin. This is Keith.
Hey.
We had to, in order to get ready to see Across the Spider-Verse, we had to go back and watch Into the Spider-Verse.
Literally the day
night
before we
right?
saw Across the Spider-Verse in the theaters.
And
that was fun.
Yeah, we were so hyped for this movie. We can't wait to talk about it. It will be a spoiler review. I always forget to mention this at the beginning.
This time you didn't?
It is a spoiler review.
His memory is working properly this episode?
Right, thank you. So thank you so much for joining us. If you're new to the channel, we hope you'll stick around to the very end and listen to us. And, if you're on live, please chat and ask us any questions or drop any comments you like. If you're not a subscriber, we're asking you to please subscribe because we're trying to get to 1,000 YouTube subscribers. And we're
at 940 right now.
60 subscribers away. That's awesome. All right. Okay. Let's do it. So what we're going to do, we're not going to go through the entire movie, obviously. It's like 2 hours and 10 minutes, I think. Or 2 hours, 2 hours and 10, 20 minutes. So we're going to talk about the Earths, right? The universes, So, all right. So we're going to start with the beginning of the movie. The beginning of the movie takes place Manhattan, Earth 65. All right. And that's Gwen Stacy. So we're seeing Gwen Stacy. First of all, Gwen Stacy, New York City, how the film represents New York City is just gorgeous. It's wonderful to look at. I was impressed when Gwen came on the screen and she was giving herself, an introduction as to who she is. And, this transition that she was going through where she's walking down the streets of Manhattan and then it transitions into her on the subway train and then transitions there back to her home. It was just seamless. It was wonderful. So this was a very tense moment with Gwen and her father, George Stacy. He is after the person who killed Peter Parker in her time, or who he thinks, right? So it looks like Spider-Gwen or Spider-Woman was there when the last person maybe to see Peter. So George is after Spider-Gwen, but he has no idea that this is his daughter. So there's a standoff, right, between George and Stacy, and he's got a gun pointing at her, and she puts up her hands, and
she takes off her mask.
And she finally reveals to her own father that she is Spider-Woman, Spider-Gwen. And what was interesting, I guess he was just in shock.
He kept reading her her Miranda rights.
Yeah, he did put the gun down at one point and had a conversation, and then he went back and read her rights again. Like, you're still, you have the right to remain silent. She's going, "Are you serious? Are you excuse me?" And then in comes we get Miguel O'Hara from Spider-Man 2099, played by Oscar Isaac. And we have Jess Drew, played by Issa Rae.
I'm now realizing just how many MCU actors got their second part in this Spider-Verse trilogy.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, go ahead.
How many do you want me to list?
No, just a couple.
Oscar Isaac, Catherine Hahn, Mahershala Ali, to name a few.
Right. In other words, they have characters in the MCU
Haley Steinfeld.
Right, Haley Steinfeld, who voices Stacy. Yeah. Gwen Stacy. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's it.
That's it.
Okay. So she is rescued by Miguel and Jess. They provide her this bracelet that actually
stops her from glitching.
Right, and it allows her to go through different portals, and she's gone with Miguel and Jess into another dimension. So she's gone. She's out the picture, right? So, later on in the movie, she'll come back and she'll speak to her dad, and which was very, very powerful, very emotional. Mm-hmm. All right. So then the next universe. Earth 1610, Brooklyn, New York. All right, that's Miles Morales. All right, so we pick up Miles. I think it takes place a little less than 2 years after Into the Spider-Verse. And I'm telling you, I'm looking on the screen and, I see Miles with his parents. I see my family on the screen. It's like they have I don't know, they had a camera inside my home. I'm looking at this, and when they're rushing around, they're trying to get Miles ready for school, and you're like, where's this? Where's that? Where's my laptop? Like I'm thinking of you, trying to get you ready for school. Do you pack your lunch? Where's your iPad? Here's your iPad. Put your iPad in the book bag. Hey, let's go. And
the classic having like scoops of Lucky Charms in your mouth and run out the door.
Right. Yeah. You just take a couple of scoops and then you're done. So, but every family.
If only that logic applied to ice cream.
Okay. Yeah.
But it doesn't. You don't take a couple of scoops. You eat an entire tub.
Yeah. Well, you try not to, but yeah, I know it's very hard.
Like when I get a pint of ice cream, I throw away the lid.
Yeah. Okay. You love ice cream.
But when I have a tub of ice cream, I space that out over 3 to 5 business days.
3 to 5 business days.
I'm not crazy,
okay.
y'all.
Yes, and you, yes, okay, you take care
cookie dough ice cream for the win.
You'll take care of that ice cream, okay. And I want to talk about well, first of all, the parents. Well, let's start with Miles. So Miles Morales, is voiced by Shamik Moore. He comes back and he's very good, obviously, and you could tell that from the first movie, Miles is grown up, and you could tell that he is, coming into his teenage years. His facial expressions or his features are growing. Yes. And his parents, what I love about his parents, so it's Rio and Jefferson, right? They do not feel like, cardboard cutout parents. I mean, they really feel real to me. I mean, like I said, I felt like I saw myself on the screen. They are, they love their child. Sometimes, they don't know what's going on with their son. They're trying to reach out and to find out what's happening, but they're not the type of parent where it's like, you do what I say type of thing, or they're clueless, or they have children who are, smarter than they are, or trying to get the advantage over them. So no, it's not like that.
Stereotype for the bumbling parents,
right? Yeah, they're not at all. They're not bumbling at all. They're lovely parents.
These people aren't even 3-dimensional. They're 4-dimensional.
Right.
Somebody was like, "Let's take some random parents from Brooklyn and put them in our film."
Right. And then, they're voiced by, of course, these accomplished actors, Brian Tyree Henry and Luna Lauren Velez. So that was wonderful. They're wonderful. So there's a scene where the three of them are in the counselor's office, and they're going over and talking about, who is Miles, and going over his grades. And he's a very smart kid. Obviously, he's in this advanced school. And he's getting A's here, A's in this, and A's in that. When it comes to Spanish, being Spanish, and his mother
and his mom freaks out, and his dad's like, "Oh, Miles."
Yeah, and it's a funny moment, but it's actually a setup for something that happens towards the end of the movie.
That's what happens when I get a B. Like, I'd be sitting here and I'd be reading up my grades, and I'll be like, "It's judgment time." And then Dad's like, "Ooh."
Yeah, I keep quiet. Yeah, but that was pretty funny.
Dad's like the instigators in the back.
Instigator? No, I'm not an instigator. All right, so we know that. So Gwen is from Earth 65. Miles is from Brooklyn Earth 1610. Gwen pays Miles a visit. So remember from the first movie, they have a relationship. There's
they're friends. They're on a level that nobody else can understand each of them.
Yeah, they have a fondness for each other, obviously. If you see in Miles's scrapbook, I mean, he's an artist.
He drew like hundreds of pictures of Gwen.
Pictures of Gwen all over that book. So he misses her. So she comes in, she pays him a visit. And, in his world, and just, wanted to just hang out. And that's exactly what they did. They hung upside down.
Sat upside down on the bridge.
Right. Yeah. That was a very nice moment to see them together. Yeah. And, it couldn't last long because, Gwen needed to go back to, where she's located, because she's going after the same character that Miles is going after, that we're going to talk about. But yeah, so we're gonna get to talking about the spot, but so Gwen
Spot.
is in search of the spot, right? And we're gonna talk about who the spot is, but Gwen is aware that the spot, we don't really know where he is at the moment, but she needs to go back to her portal and get into, go to wherever he's located. So Gwen is not going to tell Miles where she's going. So what Miles does, right? So what Miles does is he follows her. He has that
invisibility power.
Right, exactly. And
he's one of the few Spider people that comes with natural powers.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you something. I feel like maybe his powers stem from the or like his otherworldly powers stem from just that, an otherworldly spider from another dimension.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No. Okay.
Venom blast.
Okay. All right. So he follows her to this portal, doesn't know where she's going. She jumps in, and now he realizes, okay, well, I need to find out what's going on. So he actually jumps in after her, and they end up in Mumbai, India, right? Which is Earth 5101. All right.
Yes.
So let's talk about that. So this is pretty interesting. So Miles and Gwen, they meet an alternate Spider-Man named Pavitra Prabhakar. Yeah. All right. Pavitra Prabhakar, played by Karen Soni. And they also meet Spider-Punk. Yeah. Spider-Punk was pretty cool. Yeah.
Oh, he was cool.
Mm-hmm.
He was in the movie for like a good 10 minutes before he decided, nah, I'm gonna go chill. And then he just kind of left.
Well, yeah.
With his British accent.
Okay, right. Yes, he is British, right? Yeah. He's from
I was
London.
not expecting that.
Yeah. He's part of the punk revolution, I guess, right? So he's
Punky
to me, he
verse.
looks like he's a part of a, the artwork for him looks like it's from a newspaper print, like it was kind of like black and white, but not quite.
It just depended on his mood.
Yeah. But he's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when he was wearing the mask, and I think they're on an elevator or something, and he takes off the mask, and Miles looks at him. Why do you look more cooler with the mask off? And so that was pretty nice. Okay, all right. So Mumbai, India. All right. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So now we got Miles, we got Gwen, we got Pavitra, and Hobie, Spider-Punk, all looking after the spot. Okay, let's talk about who the spot is. Okay. All right. So the spot.
All right. So basically, this guy, his name is Dr. Jonathan Owen, played by Jason Schwartzman, and he's a former scientist from Alchemax. And in the first movie, during the Collider explosion, he was impacted, and his body became that of a Dalmatian, but with portals. He was laughed out of his job and family and turned to a life of crime due to his appearance. And wow.
Right. So now he was mentioned in the first movie, or did he have a small scene in the first movie? Okay, no. But he was a part. Okay, go ahead.
He got hit by a bagel. That's really the only time we saw him.
Okay.
That was the only noticeable time we could have picked him out. But then he really picked up his pace after the Collider incident as a main villain. Miles called him a day of the week villain, and the spot literally embodied that meme where he says, "So I took that personally." He's literally going to destroy Miles's world. Yeah. Because he got called a day of the week villain.
Yeah.
This man is sick.
Well, someone who he wants to be the villain. Right. Mm-hmm. And I guess he's not one of the more popular Spider-Man villains.
I know
but
I know pretty much every Spider-Man villain. Actually.
Yeah, but he's not to me on the level of a Dr. Octopus or a Green Goblin, right? Yeah.
You say Green Goblin, and the hairs on the back of my head just pricked up.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So he got offended when Miles didn't take him seriously. Like I said, he wants to be this villain. He's not threatening. He's not intimidating.
He was trying to rob an ATM and failed to put it through one of his portals.
Right. Yeah, and he struggled to really break into that ATM. I mean, he just looked like a bumbling, fool. Yeah. Yeah, and so he is. First of all, his appearance. he blames his appearance, because he got caught up in the collider accident, right?
I'll tell you something. People just seem to be blaming Miles for the things he can't control.
Mhm.
It's not like he decided, yes, I want to purposefully destroy a collider and turn you into a Dalmatian.
Mhm.
Or, I want to purposefully get bit by a spider I didn't even know existed from a universe that I didn't know was real,
Right.
that bit me uncontrollably and I didn't even notice it.
Yeah, exactly.
They're really blaming this boy for things he didn't control.
Right. So he just has this grudge against Miles, and now what he wants to do, like what any villain wants to do, is he takes it personally. So he wants to go after not just Miles, but his whole family.
If I were a villain, I would actually listen to the hero for once.
Yeah.
Like if I'm a villain, I'm not gonna take out somebody's family.
Yeah.
That's just on another level. Rob a bank, sure. Beat him up, absolutely. Go for their family, nah.
Yeah, that's really taking it too far. It's just ridiculous.
Nah, buddy.
All right. So let's go to Nueva York, right? Earth 928. Okay.
Spider Society.
Yeah. So this is the part.
Spider Society.
So this is the part of the film where we see all kinds of spider people. It's just. Oh man! All right, so this is the headquarters of the Spider Society. There's a reference to Aaron Davis from Earth 199999. All right, because in Spider-Man: Homecoming, Aaron Davis, who is Miles Morales' uncle, was played by
Donald Glover.
Right?
Who we saw in a jail cell.
Right. So he said, "Yeah, I know somebody was staring at him," and I think he was saying, "Well,
Miles.
Right? It wasn't Miles that was staring at him. Okay, right. His own uncle. He was staring at his own uncle. So that's interesting. So what does that?
Didn't recognize him.
I guess not. Yeah. So what does that mean? So I think what it means is we're going to see Miles Morales in live action soon. I think it's going to happen. I think the announcement is probably going to be made after the third movie comes out, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. But we'll see. Yeah. You had something to say, or you want me to go ahead?
I was gonna say.
Yeah.
You see, the problem with that is Miles Morales is an anomaly. So most worlds have either a Spider-Man or a Spider-Woman, respectively. Some worlds have both or derivatives like Scarlet Spider. But Miles Morales was but his spider powers were created from a spider that wasn't supposed to be in his world. So he traveled from another world to his world to bite him.
Yep.
And as such origin stories aren't going to happen frequently. So there's one Miles, just like how there's one Gwen. Because in every other world, Gwen doesn't survive long enough to get spider powers.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks to, Green Goblin.
I see. Okay.
So there's only one Spider-Gwen. And by implication, there's only one Miles. So Spider-Man is the norm for most of these worlds. And then some of them will have substitutions of other characters, other Spider people in place of him. Like how in Bombatan, we saw Spider-Man India.
Mm-hmm.
In Earth 138, we saw Spider-Punk.
Yes.
So they'll have different Spider people for different worlds.
Mm-hmm.
But usually it's just Peter Parker.
Okay. Now, would that have anything to do with seeing Miles Morales in live action? Can we still?
My point is, if we were going to see Miles Morales in live action, it'd be the same Miles Morales we see in the Into the SpiderVerse trailer.
Okay.
Or trilogy, not trailer.
Yeah. Well, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I'm just saying they'd be the same character.
Okay. All right. Well, so let's talk about the multiverse. So, what was smart that the filmmakers did was. Spider-Man has been around for over 60 years now, right? And then we've had so many variations of Spider-Man from different writers and different artists. And it's seen throughout the comic books and the TV and animated cartoons and movies. So what they did was they just took all of the Spider-Man that we've seen throughout our lifetime and just bring them all into the society. And, I was wondering if anybody is aware that in the late 70s there was a TV series, a Spider-Man TV series that was short-lived. It came on CBS, starring Nicholas Hammond as Peter Parker. Was he a part of the society? I didn't see him. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure they did put Japanese Spider-Man in there.
Okay, all right, yeah, well, okay. I'm just wondering why I didn't.
You know what? Once this movie's on Disney Plus, I'm gonna put it in 0.25x speed, and I'm gonna watch it meticulously and carefully and pinpoint every little detail.
As many as we can, right? There were just so many. It's, if it's not necessary, I would say, to know all of the Spider people, but it's.
Oh wait, I forgot. Wiki. Somebody's already done all that for me.
Oh, okay.
They will list people like Spider-Side, Peter Parked Car, Spider-Bite, all the armored Spider-Man suits.
Yeah, that's true.
Insomniac Spider-Man for the PS4 games.
Now, as a matter of fact, we wrote down some of the names. We've already talked about some of them, but there are a few that we haven't talked about yet. Let's talk about Peter B. Parker. He was from Into the SpiderVerse, right? So he is from
Dad Spider-Man.
Right, he is from 616, right? So Earth 616, okay. And he shows up in this movie as a dad.
Yeah.
Right? He has a daughter named Mayday Parker.
Yep.
Okay.
People on ships are going to be calling her name quite a lot.
Mm-hmm. Mayday.
Like, Mayday. Yeah. And then she's going to come swinging around in her spider suit like, what happened? And they're like, we needed a ship to save us, but you know what? You have webs. You can swing us out of her.
Yeah. And then, by the way, Jess Drew is with child, so she's expecting. So I'm wondering if this is the filmmakers preparing for the new generation of Spider people. I don't know. I just thought it was interesting that parenthood is represented in this movie very well. So you got Peter B. Parker. He's a dad. Jess is going to be a mom.
Isn't she the same person who told Gwen to get over her attachments? That seems very hypocritical considering you're about to have a newborn that you're going to be attached to for about 2 years before they're, 0.1% independent, and then you got to stay with them for about another decade.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Before they can be fully independent.
Yeah.
So she's telling Gwen not to have attachments to somebody who's grown.
Yeah.
But she got to raise a newborn for about another 12 years.
That's all right. Okay. It's that mother instincts, she can change, when that baby arrives, her thoughts, her thinking, her way of thinking and raising a child, that changes people. So, the person that she is now, when she becomes a mom, she's probably going to be a totally different person. And she may be a totally different person when we see her in the third movie. We know she's going to be in the third movie. And by the way, Issa Rae, they didn't really give her a lot to do, the Jess Drew character. So I expect maybe
except Rose Peter Parker, and then Bark at Peter Parker, Bark at Gwen, Bark at Miles, and then Chase Miles.
Yeah, but I expect she'll do more in the third.
She was really just yelling at everyone in the movie.
Yeah, I hear you. Okay.
And insulting Peter's teaching skills, insulting Gwen's attachments, insulting Miles' attachments, and then chasing Miles on the command of a man who pretty much created a canon event disruption that ended in the catastrophic collapse of an entire world that he should not have done. And then he wanted to blame an innocent child who didn't ask to be bitten by a spider for wanting to save his parents.
All right. Well, yeah, you're getting where we're going. I just want to go through, keep that in mind. I just wanted to go through these other Spider people that we were talking about that we haven't brought up yet. So how about Scarlet Spider, Ben Reilly? What do you know about Scarlet Spider?
So basically, Scarlet Spider is the clone of Peter Parker named Ben Reilly. He dyed his hair blonde so he would look different from Peter and assume the identity of Ben Reilly.
Okay. All right. And then Margot Kess, Spider-Bite from Earth 22191. Know much about her? Okay. No, and then we have...
She wasn't even in the comics. All I know is that it's a girl with an Oculus who's controlling Spider-Bite. Spider-Bite's not even there.
Okay, all right. And then we got Penny Parker, who was in Into the SpiderVerse.
I don't know how you pronounce this, but it's SP capital S capital P //DR.
Yeah,
I guess
it's still Spider. I don't know. And she's from Earth 145. 1-2. Okay.
All right. Now, so to ruin people's childhoods real quick, did you know that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield have Earth numbers too?
Yeah, really? Okay, so tell
Yeah,
us.
so I'm guessing whoever made this just mashed their keys against the keyboard, picked the first 6 digits, and decided this was good. Because Toby's Earth number is 61283, and Andrew's is 120703.
Okay, so all right, so
Mashed keys.
okay, so Earth. All right, let's look at this. So Earth 96283 is Toby Maguire,
Yes.
Spider-Man. Okay, and then Andrews is 120703.
Yep.
Okay.
So we saw clips for both of them, but the fun fact is the reason why we didn't see clips from Tom's universe is because everyone forgot him in the spell.
Based on what happened in No Way Home. Okay. That's well, we don't know that for sure, but that's your theory, and which makes sense.
Yeah.
That we didn't see anything resembling Tom Holland's Spider-Man. Any of the
lost
three.
May too.
Well, outside of Donald Glover showing up.
Yeah, but that has nothing to do
So
with
that
Peter.
wouldn't connect to Tom Holland's Peter Parker?
Yeah, he was on screen for like 2 minutes after Spidey webbed his hand to his trunk.
Okay. All right. That's fine. All right. So let's go back to what you're talking about. We're talking about Miguel O'Hara. Okay.
Yeah.
So he talks about, well, let's take a step back. There's something happened in Mumbattan, right? Where
so
apparently, okay. Yeah. I was going to set it up, but go ahead.
I got it.
Yeah.
So the thing about canon events is if you disrupt one world, you disrupt them all. And we saw this with Miguel O'Hara. So in one of the other worlds, he perished at the hands of some rando, leaving his daughter behind. So what Miguel did was he brought in another Miguel O'Hara so his daughter could be raised. But what happened was, I'm pretty sure he put himself in that universe to raise that kid. But what happened is the universe began to collapse because he disrupted the canon event of that world in which he died. So that entire world ended up getting destroyed.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So he's very leery of these canon events, and Miles was about to cause one with saving his father, and already had. So in Mumbattan, Gwen grabbed onto Miles and was trying not to allow him to go and save these people from a fallen bus
and save the police officer.
So there was a police officer who was trying to save a little girl, similar to how George Stacy, died trying to save that kid.
Yeah.
In the comics and in the Amazing Spider-Man. So as Miles was running to save him, Gwen was trying to stop him, but Miles eventually did end up saving the police officer, and everyone else managed to pull the bus back off up the broken road,
right.
And everyone was happily reunited. So, but the problem with that is that police officer was supposed to die saving that kid.
Yeah.
And because Miles prevented that from happening, it caused a canon event in which Provider's home world began to collapse.
Got it. Okay. So apparently in every Spider person's storyline that for some reason there is a police captain
police officer usually captain,
right, dies in the timeline. So
close to Peter. Usually.
Right, or whoever the variation of Spider-Man is, right? Because so this officer that you're talking about from Mumbattan, this was the father of
Provider's girlfriend.
Right, girlfriend. I don't know if they were married, but yes.
They're not married.
They weren't married. Okay, so this is the father. So this is somebody that was
never allowed that to happen. They literally pulled up books. Remember that shot where he's like, "Hi, this is your daughter, and I do not know her," and then proceeds to read his book.
Right, exactly, right. So Provider, knows this gentleman because like you said that that he's still close because he is the father of his girlfriend, and like you said, Miles was not aware of the canon, and he saves this police officer. Now Miguel is upset because the canon is thrown off, right?
So, I love how Miguel just throws a hissy fit when literally any one thing goes wrong.
Yeah.
Now I get why you chokeslam Miles, but that was unnecessary. I mean, he literally tore this boy a new one and then 10 more.
Right.
Like he told Miles everything that he needed to just tear himself down. You are a failure. You're a mistake. You were not supposed to be here. Everything that happened to you was not supposed to happen.
Right.
You're not supposed to be here. You don't belong.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? That takes us back to, there's this powerful scene, one of my favorite scenes in the film, where Miles is having a conversation with his mom, Rio. And, she is preparing to, let her son grow up and be this man that he needs to be. And I'm not going to read the whole thing. It's very emotional.
Please don't make mom cry again.
But it's one. Okay, mama's behind the scenes. No one's going to know. But so basically, she says to her son, it's just hard to see my little man not be my little boy all the time. For years, I've been taking care of this little boy, making sure he's loved, that he feels he belongs wherever he wants to be. And he wants to go out in the world and do great big things. And what I worry about most is they won't look out for you like us, right? His mother and father. So wherever you go from here, you have to promise to take care of that little boy for me. Make sure he never forgets where he came from, and he never doubts he is loved. And he never lets anyone tell him he doesn't belong there. All right. So that's the part that first of all, if this was, this is a scene that gets nominated for an Academy Award. That's that type of scene, right? It was just so powerful and so emotional. But as you said, when Miguel said to Miles,
he said everything his mother told him not to listen to.
Exactly right. And I think that gave Miles fuel to say, you know what? You can't tell me where I belong or who I am or where I don't belong. I'm going to do my own thing. Right. So the reason for this argument, well, not argument, but the reason why we're having this dust up between Miguel and Miles is because Miles changed the canon, right? He saved this police officer. In Miles' universe, someone close to him who is on the police force must die.
And this wasn't even because he changed the canon. This was already written into the canon.
Okay.
And what happens is his father gets promoted to a captain.
Right.
And days later, he kicks the bucket. So Miles is fighting with what's this man's name again? Miguel, to try to save his dad.
Right. So Miguel's
like, no.
Right. Miguel
no way.
wants to run off. And Miguel is telling Miles, okay, all right. So what's more important? You saving one man, your dad, versus saving the world. What are you going to choose? Miles chooses to save his father.
I would too. Well, frankly, I would literally every time.
Yeah, it's his choice. Miguel didn't like the answer, so he tried to cage Miles, but Miles was able to break through. And now Miguel has an APB out. And this is a funny scene where he says to all the spider people, "Get Spider-Man." And everybody's all looking at each other like, "Who you mean?"
So you know that meme where those three spider people avoid each other, and how Toby, Tom, and Andrew recreated that?
Yes.
Well, they did that, but on a massive scale with literally every spider.
It was hilarious. He said, "No, Miles Morales, get Miles Morales." So and now
turn around.
Yes, all of the spider people are after Miles. All right.
Yeah, that was insane. Can I be honest? That was insane. I'm surprised that not one spider person decided to be on his side and be like, wait, why are we chasing this kid?
Well, Miguel is the boss, so, it is, it's hard to go against the establishment, like this is this big society or company or corporation,
whatever you
want to call it. Somebody goes against the establishment, gets treated as an outcast or an outsider, and they're
public enemy number one.
They're placed in a very uncomfortable position. But speaking of establishment, Spider-Punk, he don't care. He's not for this organization anyway, right? So he decides that he's gonna just step out. All right, we have Q&A. Let's start for Q&A. So thank you once again, everyone, if you're joining us. Jared, thank you for joining us. I expected more Spider-Man 2099 in the movie. Okay, I don't know. Well, maybe we'll get to see more of it in the next movie. But this was This is pretty cool. Nueva York.
All he needed to do was throw a hissy fit, and I'd already had a dose of him.
Mm-hmm.
Like Miguel said, I've already had a healthy dose of you for today.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting.
Remember when he said that to Peter?
To those what? Yes,
you know what's
Peter.
Crazy? He kicked Gwen out, but not Peter.
Yeah, remember the scene where Peter was trying to get Miguel to relax, and he passed Mayday on to Miguel, and Miguel was looking at this thing, giving the baby right back to Peter. That was very interesting. So,
I remember when Peter was trying to get Miles to hold the baby. It's like, hold the baby.
Peter was trying to get Miles to hold the baby.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And what, Miles did not want to hold the baby?
Yeah, that was after he escaped from Miguel.
Oh, okay.
Remember when they were in the depths, and he was about to climb through that exhaust port.
Okay, I got you.
Call it?
Yeah.
And he did the thing like the Captain America thing where you like fall through down.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Okay, what's going on,
dude?
Hey, is this someone you know?
Why are you blowing?
Latifah.
He's street sniping me.
All right. Well, that's cool. That's all right,
bro.
Thanks for joining us.
Street sniping me.
Okay. All right. That's cool.
It's Rashid.
All right. So he's watching us. So thank you, Rashid. All right. Very cool. All right, Keith. Very nice. Okay. All right. So now let's finish up. So Miles believes his father's in danger, so he wants to go back home. And his home, once again, is 1610.
Yeah.
Earth 1610. Okay. So what happens?
The problem is his spider bite is from Earth 42.
Okay.
So the machine reads his spider bite and not his actual universe. And he gets sent to New York and Earth 42. And in that world, his dad's already dead. And Aaron Davis basically takes the role of the head of the family to help Rio out with the house and help raise Miles and kind of step in as like the uncle figure of the family.
Now, this is interesting. This is kind of like the opposite of what's going on in 1610, because remember, Miles' uncle Aaron died.
So 1610, Miles' uncle Aaron is kicked the bucket.
Correct.
But in this universe, it's Jefferson.
His father. Passed. Yeah. So Miles is not aware at first that he is in the wrong place.
But then he realizes when he sees Uncle Aaron.
Yes.
And he like grabs him and he's like, what is happening? I thought you were dead.
Right.
And then, but he didn't say that aloud. He's thinking this to himself.
Sure.
And then he looks out, and they're looking at that mural. So in Earth 1610, there's a mural that says, what's his name? Aaron Davis, rest in power. But instead it says Jefferson Davis. And that's when we realize he's in the wrong world. And all of a sudden, you see the bold text, Earth 42. And it's like, what?
You missed a part, though. This is very, very important. What? His mother, the alternate Rio, right? In Earth 42, Miles has spent his life trying to figure out how he's
not there
going
yet.
Well,
I'm not talking about Miles yet. I'm not talking about Miles 2.
Well, I'm not talking about Miles 2 either. I'm just talking about right before you get to what you're going to say, when Miles meets his mother in Earth 42. And he's been trying to figure out how he was going to tell his parents that he's Spider-Man, right? So then he finally gets up the courage and says to his mom, I have a secret I've been meaning to tell you. Here it is. And he opens up his shirt and he shows his spider logo, and he's like, I'm Spider-Man. And she looks at him like, what's a Spider-Man?
And she's like, is this one of those Comics Con things? And she also says, why did you take your braids out?
Okay. Right. So, and he's confused, like, what do you mean? Like,
I mean, he just kind of went along with it because he finally figured my parents are getting up there in age.
Yeah, is that your costume for a Comic-Con? Or it's like, what's going on?
Is this a cosplay thing? And Miles is like, no, like, actually, I'm Spider-Man. She just laughs him out of the room.
Yeah. And then that's when you go ahead and he realizes that he is not where he's supposed to be.
So basically, Rio sends him out for groceries, and Uncle Aaron goes with them. but they end up in the wrong place.
Yeah.
In his basement, because Aaron knocks the poor boy out, ties him to a punching bag.
Yeah.
And Miles comes up to meet Miles, but it's Miles too. This Miles is, I'm guessing he's fluent in Spanish. Because think about it, setup and payoff. The Miles from our world doesn't speak with a Spanish accent and has a literal B in Spanish, and his mom chewed him out for that.
Exactly.
But this one, he does have a bit of a Spanish accent.
Yes, he does. Right. Apparently, I don't know when in the timeline in 42
But I'm thinking,
where Jefferson, his father, passed away. But his mother was more of an influence on him, right? Raising her son as a single parent.
And therefore, he picked up a bit more Spanish around the house.
Exactly right. So now this Miles, the Prowler Miles, speaks Spanish fluently. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. How about that?
Somehow they both know something's wrong.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, so Hobie gave Gwen this neat little wristband thing that does the same thing that the ones from the Spider Society do, but it's a bit better, as she can open portals instantly without having to get any clearing, and Jess is not going to be blowing up her voicemails talking about, did you find him yet?
Right.
So she assembles a team, including Spider-Man Noir, Spider-Ham, Penny Parker, who's like, Spurr! And then there's Peter B. Parker. There's Spider-Man from Earth 5101. I don't know if that's how you say it. Mm-hmm. There's Hobie. So she really pulled out all the stops to go find Miles.
Right. So she...
Unfortunately, there's infinite worlds, but how many people did I list?
What do you mean?
How many people did I list?
On the page?
No, how many people did I list? Oh, Spider-Bite, too. How many members did I list?
Okay, and did you also mention Penny Parker?
Yeah,
is there as well?
Okay, so you know what? For simplicity's sake, I'll say 8.
Okay, yeah,
because
she had a good number of people.
That's easily divisible into 42, 6.
Okay,
so think about it. Yeah. If there's 8 members, all they got to do is start from Earth 1 and keep going up and up and up and up and up until they reach 42. So they can split up and keep conquering. And then they start at Earth 8, 16, 24, 32, up and up, and up and up and up, whatever, till they get to 42.
So you don't think they're just going to go directly to 42 to get Miles?
Because they don't know what world
what world he's in. Okay. Well, could they go back to the society?
Nope, I'm stupid.
Okay, well...
No, 8 times 6 is not 50.
No, it's
42.
No.
42.
We'll get past that, yeah.
I forgot my basic multiplication. I'm going back to first grade.
Okay. Well, can they go back to the society? Because that was where they put into... Why not?
Because Hobie left, Miguel had his daily dose of Peter, and Gwen got kicked out. So they're basically outcasts. And pretty much everyone else left the Spider Society to go help Gwen. So they're outcasts, and I'm pretty sure they had their badges revoked. So they can't exactly go back to the Spider Society whenever they like.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, that's very interesting.
But basically, they can just keep searching worlds and they'll find them pretty quickly. It'll take about 6 sweeps till they find them.
Now, we forgot to mention that apparently, Miles is in 42, but everybody else is in his timeline, the correct timeline. So Gwen is in 1610, and so is Miguel and Jess Drew. Now,
and Scarlet Spider.
Right, and then. With Jess, something interesting where she was on her motorcycle and she was tailing Miles's father, and I'm not quite sure why. Like, was she looking out to protect him, or was she looking to?
I don't know what she was doing.
That was
okay. Well, she wouldn't kill him because that would also cause a canon event.
Okay,
if
well,
she killed him then. So that means he wouldn't be able to save that child, and then that child would eventually enter another dimension.
Right.
And then that would mean that the whole canon gets thrown out of whack, as the police force would eventually crumble due to the sudden loss, and Spidey would eventually become kind of lose his mind and probably go after him again. My point is, it would throw off the timeline, and then everything else would go into chaos.
Okay. Well, so there's another change to the timeline, right? Remember, George Stacy, he was supposed to die. right?
Mhm. So what was supposed to happen is,
Yep.
what happens in every other world, he tries to save a kid, but he actually retires as captain
Yeah.
to be with Gwen.
Yeah. Right.
Now, here's an interesting turn of events. If it's changing in her world, it could change in Miles's canon events.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because if it happens in one world, it messes up all the others.
Okay. Well,
I'm on my villain arc.
okay. Well, it looks like you have an idea of where the next movie is going. So
Yeah.
this is very interesting. This was.
Tell you what, next movie, they're going to do a switcheroo.
Mhm.
They're going to do the good old switcheroo where they take Miles 2 and they put him in Miles 1's world and they leave Miles 1 in Miles 2's world.
Okay. All right. Well, overall thoughts of this movie, Keith. What'd you think of it?
I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10.
Okay. All right. Good. Yeah.
I took a point off because I didn't get a slushy while I watched the movie.
Really? Are you blaming that on the movie?
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
I'm not going to do
Yeah.
that.
This.
I actually took a point off because of the low level of butter in my popcorn.
Okay. Okay. All right. Very good.
So the real reason I took points off is
Mhm.
just Miguel angered me at
Mhm.
numerous points throughout this movie.
Sure.
And I'm like,
Mhm.
woo! I have
What?
had more than enough of you.
Yeah. What I find interesting about Miguel, like he is an anti-hero, I think.
Yeah.
But
And he's a vampire.
right. Okay. Yeah. Well, I didn't understand that part. I don't know about the vampire piece, but
Yeah.
is he? But is he the villain? Is he going to be the villain in the next movie,
I don't know.
or is it still going to be the Spot?
I'm going to try
Is-
my best to badly sum up the plot of this movie.
Oh.
Keep talking.
Okay. Well, I certain there's a lot more to Miguel that we have not seen, and it looks to me that he could be the one that Miles has to defeat in the next movie. I don't know.
I got an idea. I just
yeah.
came up with the clickbaity title for this
What
movie.
you got?
Deranged man attacks innocent child for trying to save his father. What happens next is shocking.
Details at 11. Okay. All right. Ooh.
Oh, oh my God! I was trying to do the news theme, but that turned into American Greed.
is coming after us. Okay.
My
all
favorite show. I stream American Greed more than I do Disney Plus.
All right. So let us know, if you have any comments or questions about the film. What did you think of it?
Venomance.
Yes.
We didn't even talk about the Spot. So basically, what happens is Spot loses all his holes,
Mhm.
and then he becomes powerful, and he starts going into different dimensions. One of which is Lego. That Lego aspect was animated by a 14-year-old prodigy.
Yeah.
And the other world was from Venom. Friend of mine loves Venom. I'm gonna have to tell her this tomorrow. They go back to the Venom world.
The convenience
And
store.
the reason why I remember this is because I saw it in a Marvel edit once again. And I'm like, it just clicked for me. Because I'm like, this was from Venom. I remember this from Venom. And then I realized it was the same lady from the movie. And they even had a pack of gum called Venomins.
That's interesting.
Remember when Spot asked, can I have this pack of gum? And then he
Mhm.
slid it back.
Right.
And then, it said Venomins on it.
Very interesting. All right. So Venom is a part of the multiverse. Okay. Did we miss anything else?
No, we did not.
Yeah. I
This was a great episode, even though I got stream sniped by my friends. I'm gonna have a word with you tomorrow, Rashid.
okay. Well, explain what that means. What's wrong with? What does that mean?
Okay, so stream sniping
Yes.
is basically when you log on to somebody's stream
Yeah.
when you know they're gonna be on there and you troll them.
Oh.
Usually it's in video games where you try to attack them while they're streaming.
Mhm.
But in this case, he came into my chat and he's like, "Hello."
Okay. All right. Well, I thought it was a nice gesture.
It is nice.
I know there was a term for that.
He literally said, "I like stream sniping my friends." LOL.
Okay, I got you.
That was
All right.
hilarious.
All right. Well, that's cool. All right.
I got good friends.
You do have very good friends, and by the way, this is going to be your final week of school, right before
yes.
summer camp. Yeah. So,
Woo.
yeah. Awesome. All right. Awesome. Yeah. So yeah, Across the SpiderVerse it has a lot. It is one of the most, to me, Yeah, I don't know about what's going on with animation, but I think there is.
Well, basically, animation enables people to tell stories they dared not tell back in the age of
Yeah,
live action.
and I don't know what it is about animation. I think maybe
It
people
feels
still
more
has.
lifelike than life.
Yeah, I think it's still this negative connotation or whatever with animated films that they're
Yeah.
for kids.
Let me ask
Yeah,
you this.
you're asking me, or you're
Did
asking
I
people?
ask? Literally, who in the world? I turned my render distance up to 196 and I still couldn't find who asked you if you think animation is bad. Okay?
Yeah.
If you think animation is bad, you've been living under a rock.
Yeah, I mean the animation that you're seeing in Marvel and Star Wars is the best storytelling that's out there, and I don't know why that is.
We're kind of voyaging into a new era here.
Yeah, what the creators behind the scenes are doing that is bringing us characters that feel real as any live action character on the screen. I just don't get it. But the producers of this film and the writers knocked it out of the park. And like I said, there was not one bad note in this film. There were no bad characters that were felt out of place. Everyone on the screen just represented somebody that I feel familiar with. Like I said, I felt like I saw myself up there with these parents, and I love the parenting aspect of it. I think it's very important. It's just deep down, all these spider people, thousands, hundreds, thousands, how many there are out there, but this all boils down to family. Miles wanting to save his dad. Gwen wanted to reconcile with his. Reconcile with her father. Family is very important, and generally very important. It's very important in this storyline, and we'll see where this goes in the next movie. But it's incredible. This is an incredible film. It really is, and it moves me just as much as anything that I've seen in live action. And I don't know how they did it. It's magical how they do it, to get us characters that we can relate to and cry about, and just feel emotion about these characters. So I can't wait to see what happens. So Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse opens March 29th, 2024, right? Less than a year away. So we will be there to catch it, review it, wrap it up, put it in a bow. You got this trilogy, and it's probably one of the best trilogies ever made in the history.
They did the multiverse justice.
Yeah, and right, yeah, and that's a good point. I felt the multiverse angle of this, it made sense to me more than any other film or TV series
every
that
other
covered the
multiverse
multiverse.
show.
Yeah, I don't know.
Kind of
Again,
bad.
I don't know how they got it right, and then others kind of did not. But Into the Spider-Verse, Across the Spider-Verse, yeah, they got it right. Okay, all right. Final Q&A. Loved the movie. I thought the final 20 minutes was the only part of the movie that dragged. Okay. Yeah.
I don't think it dragged as much as it could have used, a 5-hour energy.
Yeah, well, maybe maybe it was too long. So the first movie, I'm trying to remember how long the
Hour
first
57.
movie. Okay, so a little under 2 hours, and this one was 20 minutes more, 10 to 20 minutes more. So maybe a good 10 minutes could have been
210.
Yeah, maybe a good 10 minutes could have been cut. I don't know, but yeah,
I feel like every minute was necessary.
Yeah, well, there you go. So it's an incredible film. Latifah, Miles the guy from Fortnite. Is that another troll? All right, okay. So do we have any other? Okay, so this was great. This was wonderful. Once again, fantastic movie. We loved talking about Spider-Man, and
we're done here.
One of our favorite characters, right? And it's being done right on the screen with Miles Morales. All right, so we're in good hands. I can't wait. All right, so thank you so much.
You don't mean Allstate.
Yeah, that's right. The good hands people. All right, Keith, where can people find us?
You can find us on wherever you get your podcasts. Socials are Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Fathers and Galaxy. Website, fathersandgalaxy.com. Our merch store is fathersandgalaxy.myspreadshop.com. Email us at keyard@fathersandgalaxy.com. And please join our race to 1,000 subs.
Yes.
We will need all the help we can get. We're at 940. We just
60.
need 60 more.
60 more. 60. And we can do it by the end of June.
And we're going to do 1,000 subscribers special.
Yes. Don't know what that is yet.
We're going to
we
do
will.
something.
We'll do something. All right.
Maybe we'll give ice cream to random people.
So, ice cream? I
That'll
don't
be fun.
know. I think that we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. All right. Yeah, we got to celebrate somehow.
Publicity.
Yeah. So this is, again, wonderful. Thank you for joining us. If you're on the live stream, thank you for being on the live stream. If you're listening to us later, please, don't forget to drop a comment wherever you listen to us. And we love the comments. We read them, respond to the YouTube comments as much as we can. I'm a little behind, but I will get back on and I'll respond to every single comment. All right. Anything else before we go?
If you combined all the insurance agencies, you would have your best friend. Think about it. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Allstate, you're in good hands. And Nationwide is on your side.
Mm-hmm.
Progressive just bundles your auto and home insurance. We were in a car crash and they did nothing. So, Progressive.
All right. Don't forget Jake from State Farm.
Oh, yeah, Jake from State Farm.
He's a pretty cool
good.
guy. Yeah. Okay.
He seems like a good man.
Seems like a good man. All right. So thank you,
Like a
everyone.
good neighbor, State Farm is there.
There you go. Good neighbor. Thank you so much, everyone. All right. We love you. So thank you. Take care. Until next time, we'll see you again.
Miles is not the guy from Fortnite, okay? He's the guy from the movie. Please.